Welcome to my channel. This video is for a double military braid. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads and live streams. To begin, we're going to start just like any other military braid. We're going to make a loop and we're going to make sure that it's big enough to fit another loop inside of it. So you don't want it too big where the loop would fall out, but you don't want it too tight. So just make sure you can easily push another loop inside. So just keep adjusting that first ribbon, which is on my right, and then I'm going to put a staple in that. And then I'm going to use that first one as a guide for all my other pieces. So I've got 4 ribbons. To make a double military braid, you need 4 ribbons. A regular would take 2. So I'm just matching up the loop on all 4 pieces of ribbon. I've got 2 colors, 2 of each color. And if this is your first time making a double military braid, I suggest you work with only 2 colors. So make sure you get all your loops stapled down at the ends, and make sure you're only doing one side of each ribbon. You wouldn't want to get to the end and found out that you made loops on both ends. So just again use that first one as a guide. You don't have to figure out on all the other ones. Once you got the first one done, then you can know how big of a loop you need to make on all the other ribbons. I'm using 9/16 inch width ribbon. So you want to hold 2 of the ribbons side by side in your hand, 1 of each color, and you want to start out braiding your military braid just like you would a regular military braid. You push one loop inside the other loop, and I'm sticking with the same colors. So push the white loop into the white loop and the blue loop into the blue loop. The only difference is you're holding both of them side by side, and you're braiding 2 military braids at the same time. And it's important that you hold them side by side and that you're crossing over. You see how I'm crossing over the white one to loop the blue one? And what's going to happen is, and then when I go from the other direction and loop the white over the blue, what happens is those ribbons crisscross and they make that pretty pattern in the front, and that is what connects the 2 military braids together. And it's really difficult, and I know you can probably tell that I'm struggling because not only am I trying to hold these 2 braids side by side and braid them, but you know how acetate ribbons are, they're constantly trying to come loose, so I'm also having to pull them snug just like you would making a regular military braid with this type ribbon. You're just constantly pulling them back snug because they're constantly coming undone. So I'm doing that, and then I'm trying to hold on to it and braid at the same time. So it's really difficult in that sense. It's not a difficult braid to make, like thinking about, but it is a difficult braid to make when just because there's so much going on, and you really need 3 hands. So it's really difficult there at the beginning. I even tried using an alligator clip to kind of hold them together, but it just kept getting in the way, so I took it off. But once you get it going, like a couple of inches, 2 or 3 inches, it'll stay together and it'll make it a lot easier. So I suggest you just take it slow and just remember to constantly pull those snug after you run a loop through a loop, which I don't know how other way to say it. You're just pushing a loop through a loop basically when you make a military braid. That's all you're doing. So just remember to keep pushing or pulling that ribbon snug before you make your next loop. So you can see I'm just constantly pulling. So before I make another loop, I went ahead and made that snug again. You don't want to make those too tight or to make the braid curl too much, but just pull it snug and then just keep going back and forth and you'll get the hang of it. It's just a little, it's just kind of complicated because you're doing so much. You got so much going on. You're making 2 braids at once, so it can get a little confusing and hard to hold on to. But at this point, it's easy to hold on to now. It's staying together, so I don't have to force them side by side, so that part is easy. You can kind of see the design there in the center that it's making. It makes that fun little design in the center. So I've made these with soft satin ribbons, and it's much easier because soft satin ribbons are going to kind of hold their place a little bit better than these ribbons, but I know these are what most people use for homecoming moms, so I really wanted to do a video in this type of ribbon so you guys could see it, and you do have to start it out differently and stuff. But here it is. I'm going fast forward because I'm not going to make you all watch this